Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody inside and outside the ballpark. My name is NovedPlayer, and welcome to episode 40 of the Noved Notes podcast, where we talk about many different types of creators and communities around the platform. Today, I have one of the amazing film directors of VRChat Films, the CEO of Portal Media, Virtual. Virtual, welcome on.
Hello.
Yeah, welcome on. How you doing?
Yeah, thank you for bringing me on. I'm doing all right. Tired. My sleep schedule was kind of a little bit screwed up these past couple days, but I'm still running I'm still running like it's coffee.
Fair enough. So I guess, for the general listening audience at home, what exactly do you do inside of VR chat?
So, basically, well, for the past 3 years, we've kind of went through like I guess a good amount of things to do like just within. I'd say like when we first started Pearl Media, it was called V Film Entertainment for all the OGs there, and it was more of like I guess a filming group, just a small group of people to make little short films in it through just through VR chat and Rec Room, surprisingly, because we actually did also start in Rec Room, but then we kind of branched off of it. But yeah, so after a little bit, we actually made our first short film, which was within a day, called Fonts at the Supermarket. And after that, we like I tried doing the trailer for a project that we're currently working on called Fotswire about good 1 or 2 years ago. It was a little bit still in, I'd say, progress, very very in progress. But yeah, essentially our goal was to just make stuff in VR chat that is as close to stuff in real life as possible, to entertain and to also like do some incredible stuff that I mean I don't think I would be able to do in real life with the short amount of money I have. I mean, what do you think we can really get a Dolly sub IRL for less than $2 on Booth or something like that? It's pretty amazing what virtual reality has gotten us to.
No, absolutely. And, it's so just to kind of go into the timeline a little bit. So, what got you into VR and VR chat in general?
Um, so at first I was intrigued by some I was actually introduced in VR by some actual popular YouTubers like Jacksepticeye and I think Markiplier or something like that. Either way, back in like 2016, 2017, I think they were given like some of the um some like the VR headsets by Oculus to like try out some of their first games when it first came out. And it was like I think it was a Star Wars game, and I think there was like some other ones out there like accounting plus or something like that. But either way, I was very intrigued into it. I never actually seen them play VR chat, but I think through them I did start hearing of VR chat through some YouTubers like Hey I'm B and some other ones who were around back then who were just doing some wacky stuff in full body with VR. And then the boys came around along, but I kind of started looking into it when it was just Josh Dub and everything like that. So that kind of brought me into the platform a lot more because of not because of like I guess the funny moments content or the Omegle stuff that's been going on in the game, but just more of like, oh well, this is a game where you can put on a VR headset and become anything and do anything, it seemed. And a lot of it was pretty dumb. I mean, I didn't really think back then that Uganda Knuckles would have had like a entire like community type thing going on until then. But props to the dude. um but yeah, that's kind of what got me into into VR chat is a sense of stuff. Now, if we're talking about like filmmaking stuff, I'd say that concept came to me through Rec Room first, because I was on Rec Room first before I got into VR chat when I first had my VR headset, and that was like for the first couple months. Saw some other people do it and whatever, but not it was not really common. And then I was like, I don't know if I didn't know if filmmaking in VR would be such a thing. And then I see, well, Metacosm. I see Metacosm, and and this was like around the same timeline they dropped the trailer for VR Chat the movie, which is now named ITM or Into the Metaverse because of because of right restrictions and all that stuff. Um, and I was like, okay, so these guys are making films in VRChat. Okay, so I'm like, okay, there might be like an actual community full of people who love to do this stuff a lot more than in Rec Room. And then that's kind of how I started Poro Media.
Fair enough. I mean, you kind of already answered one of the other questions, um, which was kind of like what made you start wanting to work with VR chat specifically? Because Rec Room and VR chat are definitely, two different platforms to say the least. So what kind of brought you, because you kind of mentioned a little bit on how the YouTubers kind of like inspired you to come to VR chat in the sense. Well, I guess in that case, so you went from Rec Room into VR chat, and you kind of saw Metacosm as you'd stated. So one of the questions I wanted to ask, what was it like starting out Portal Media inside of VR chat? Like, was it kind of harder, starting in VR chat compared to Rec Room, or did it just kind of like grow and grow and grow?
I'd probably say it's about it was way less harder to actually do this in Rec Room. I mean, do this than Rec Room. Rec Room was more like anytime I came on to like a rec center or a public instance to try and get people, some people would be interested, but usually they were like 10 or 12-year-olds at the time. And a lot of them were how do I say it? A lot of them did not really like the idea of something like that being made within Rec Room. And that's where I was getting some pushback on. A lot of people said it was very cringe. It was more cringe than doing something in VR, honestly. And they were saying, and then when I met some of the content creators within the space, I realized trying to make a film in Rec Room is considerably harder than doing it in VR chat. It's not because of like I'd say money or anything. It's just more like resources. People don't want to. A lot of people that I've met back then didn't want to do anything like that within Rec Room. Then the resources that the game gave us, Rec Room's camera right now, even right now, Rec Room's camera is still inferior to VRC lens. You're not able to do much with it. You're not able to do, like certain camera settings. They built it more as like a phone, like a phone stream camera for like streaming stuff and doing like low effort content creation. It's not like it doesn't have any advanced features like focus or anything like that. It's just literally a display with green screen and some other stuff in it. It's not anything too advanced, right? Um. So after I left that and I went to VR chat, there was another difficulty that I kind of um engaged with. It was more like it wasn't because there was a good amount of people who were willing to be in this project, but the one thing that kind of stopped me from a lot of stuff was I guess like how no I'll put this down to multiple columns. One, age. When I joined VRChat, it was in a very strange time for stuff. It wasn't really the VRChat that everybody knows about in 2017 or 18. This was a completely different age. All these joshed up kids were coming in, the brushes, all that stuff. Everybody knows about the brushes. And there was a huge problem that was spiking. And it was the problem, it was this issue of adults and teenagers, or let's say minors, and this is in this instance, where we're getting on the platform, and some of them were interacting with each other in a way that is not safe for work, let's say. And that issue really I think that issue really scared a lot of people on the internet to where they wouldn't even want to talk to a minor at all, which, like I said, I don't blame them. Some people my age can be very very difficult to talk to, but this was one of the issues that I was dealing with when I was first trying to find people in the Black Cat. Because yeah, I talked to people trying to pitch them my studio, saying, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to try and get VR chat into, I guess, a completely different look of stuff compared to because VRChat isn't the same, and we kind of grown, but a lot of people kind of still have this mindset that it is this specific type of game with like let's say like 35-year-olds like in cheap anime costumes with full body on and stuff like that and whatever. I mean there are maybe like a few people who are like that, but it's not like the entire community. But I'd say basically going back on the whole age thing, that was an issue. Like I said, when I was like hitting up important people to try and at least get support for my projects, I was having a lot of pushback because a lot of people were very skeptical to work with me. I didn't have any sort of reputation back then, and a lot of people just couldn't really trust me to work with them because I mean in their case I could be like a liability if something were to come out to happen, which not something that I would really indulge in doing. And then the second issue was I'd say like being able to market, because I was not good when I was 13 and I started pushing this stuff out to VRChat. I was not good at marketing or trying to pitch what I was wanting to do. And because of that, a lot of people all often declined, and a lot of people, kind of pushed me away from their groups because they didn't really like, understand what I was trying to, I guess, do. And like I said, during the time, I did have a lot more people into what I was wanting to do more than the people in Rec Room. Rec Room, I only got like a group of maybe 3 or 4 people. In VRChat, I could get like in VRChat, I could get like 20 people joining a Discord server in a day. If I like actually tried going into some of these communities and being like, hey, you want to help out with this film project that we're doing, blah blah, all that stuff. And I just kept doing that for the past few years. And like I said, the problems that we're still dealing with, like that's displayed, are still kind of there, but it's not as bad as it was 3 years ago. And because of that, I do think that if I kept trying in Rec Room, I don't think I would have never succeeded. So that's kind of a reason.
I get that. I would say it's definitely a different, like you said, it's definitely different because of a lot of the things, overall with like the age groups in that platform and everything else. Kind of one of the questions I wanted to ask, in that regard, had you cuz there's a few other platforms out there, and they're newer platforms, you have well,
Yeah.
one of them being, not around anymore, but like Altspace or Resonite. What kind of, was there ever any idea as to like try on those different platforms, or do you think just VRChat where it stands is like, not to say like the best platform, but like the ideal platform, I guess, in that regard?
Um, the reason why I do advocate for doing this in VRChat and not really any other platform, like you mentioned, Altspace and everything like that. Well, one, Altspace had crappy moderation. Well, I'm just gonna say that at there. They had some insanely crappy moderation. There was a ton of bad reviews for the game. It was kind of failing on itself. And also that community in the Altspace community was more 18 plus than VRChat. Like even though it's a 13 plus game, the community didn't a lot of the people in the community were adults who were like in their 30s, 40s. A lot of them didn't really want a lot of them, wanted to interact with other adults, which makes complete sense. And also there's other things within apps like Altspace that, like I said, I don't think would be, I guess, ideal for filming, because last time I checked, when I went to apps like those or applications like those, they didn't have, they had cameras and everything like that, and streaming stuff like that, but it was not as advanced as VRChat, VRChat creators stuff and everything like that around then. That was the last time I checked. So somebody could correct me if I'm wrong there. Um, there are other apps that I was looking into, because like when the whole EAC thing was going on, there was the old thing where everybody was willing to see VR, chill out VR, or Neos, I think. And I was like, well, sure they have like, stuff comparable to VRChat, but there's other issues that they might have. They might have there when I last time I checked, there was issues where it took me forever to load into a map, or the servers were very messed up, or there was just insanely small groups of people there. I wouldn't be able to make a film with such low resources like that if there's not many people to get on for filming and whatever. And a majority of those people come from VRChat, and a majority of their friends are currently in VRChat. So it's like, how would you like be able to really keep them in CVR or Neos or anything like that when all their friends are on VRChat? It's like at that point, everybody just go back on VRChat, and then instead of like us complaining about us losing our hacking privileges or something like that, we can try and suggest like different ways to, I guess, get similar results to what we were having back in EAC times or before EAC times, which is pretty much what VRChat did. So I mean, it's way better than what it was pre EAC. Like it's way better for filming, and I'm honestly glad because it's for the better.
No, absolutely. And that's kind of one of the things, because there are a lot of people that kind of wish that EAC didn't exist, but realistically, the platform's still growing no matter how you look at it. Everyone's like, oh, the platform fell off, yada yada yada. No, it didn't. If anything, it grew more because of that. It was definitely a catalyst, because you had COVID times, which had a huge influx of
Yeah,
players. And then EAC came out, what, 22, 23, I believe. And yes, some people did leave, but the overall growth kept going. It really didn't stop too much, per se. At least that's from what I see. Working with many different communities and
yeah,
seeing how many people are consistently on, the concurrent player number still to this day keeps breaking records and all that stuff. Um,
yeah.
it's definitely an interesting thing. But kind of to go more in depth with Portal Media, um, gotta love tangents. But so you kind of mentioned Fox at the Supermarket, being Portal Media's first short film. So it was like a teaser for one of your bigger projects that's still in the works. So what kind of made you want to create Fox at the Supermarket?
um, well, it was as a portfolio boost since we didn't have any portfolio prior to it, and we were like, okay, let's just start creating stuff. Um, I don't know if one of our main people right now, Jersey, was in on that project, but we did have a few people helping us out with filming that. When it comes to, I guess, how our whole plan and strategy was afterwards, it was gonna be to submit Foxwire trailer, try and get some attention, whatever. It was not really a good plan for somebody because again, I was 14 when I was doing all that stuff, and it wasn't really the best plan that I had in mind for how to make this film and everything like that. So afterwards, so next year we decide, hey, let's try doing something new, and let's try making, I guess, more projects in general, something until we get some more traction. And then randomly, so we did the Christmas special, and we got a little bit of off of that, and then we go to events like VRCon when it still existed, and like PJKT, well, not PJKT, this was before PJKT, but the New Year's event and some of our communities just trying to get our name out there. And shortly after the 2022 years older, we're like, hey, let's do a poll. What movies should we do? And we put out four, and these were different ideas. We put out four ideas. One was, what if Meta owned VRChat? That was something that, well, I don't know if I can really technically say, but that was something that another filmmaker was doing, and we had like a great talk about it. It was like completely ironic. I was like, oh my gosh. But and then the second one was a heist project within VRChat, or like a heist film, like Ocean's 11 or something like that. I can't remember the third option. It's like VRChat but anime tid or something like that. It was gonna be an anime type of project that we're gonna do, and I was like, whatever. And then a fourth option was what if life was a fever dream? And out of all of those, the Facebook one got the most votes. So we were gonna try and do the Facebook one, and the thing that stopped me from doing the Facebook one was that I got contacted by one of my film crew being like, hey, this other filmmaker from another studio is doing it. I was like, oh, how ironic. So we had a whole talk and whatever, and I was like, okay, you know what, after this we'll no, you know what, you can have the project. Like I said, we didn't have a problem with it, like we just had a good laugh about it and whatever. And so I was like, okay, after this I want to see how you do a project. So afterwards, I stopped doing production on that because it was gonna be like a 5 to 10 minute long short film, and I decided to go with the second best option, which was What If Life Was a Fever Dream. We made that in a month, and a lot of it was a little bit difficult. I'm trying to remember the filming process that we had during that. It was more like I came up with the idea, then we had some different things that we were wanting to do with the film. I had a couple different storylines I was wanting to take on with it, but then after a while, I just kind of decided, screw the storylines, that we could just go completely random. And that was around the time I met Ziver. I can't remember how I met Ziver. I think I was literally in the Ooga Booga map one time, and I met him. I added him, and then afterwards, I was like, okay, oh, I realized I have this dude on my friends list. He's making this map that we can do some weird stuff in. So I was like, okay, so I put him onto the project, and he accepted, and he was very excited to get onto something like this. It was a very fun project to work with him on, and he also lent me some of his friends to also help out with filming. And from some of those, you can see some of the scenes that where we have like a ton of Rusk or a ton of actors in, and it's like, wow, how overwhelming some of those are and whatever. But it was a great time. And afterwards, like I said, we had like the idea of taking a little bit longer to cook on it, but around the time we also had FIA's TVRS Film Festival coming up, and we're like, okay, let's submit it there. I didn't think that was gonna get accepted. I did not think that film was gonna get accepted. And like a couple weeks later, I get a message on my email saying, oh, you guys have been accepted for TVRS Film Festival. I was like, dang, I did not realize that. And I look at the schedule, I'm like, oh shoot, we're one of the first one or two films to be playing there, so we're gonna be like one of the openers. And I was like, dang, that's gonna be nervous. I mean, you could probably find the VOD out there somewhere, but I was incredibly nervous because there was like so many people there. There was some of the biggest VR content creators on the planet there, like Thrill, and I'm trying to think. It was Thrill, some other ones, and whatever. But yeah, it was a very nice event from start to finish. And it kind of gave us like a huge boost on the project on YouTube after that. So nowadays we get like a couple hundred views a month on the film every now and then, whenever it's just completely random. Like the more people talk about Fever Dream, the more views that stuff gets, and it just gets like 200 views randomly on on a September or something like that. That's just how it was. But yeah, like I said, that was kind of the, I guess, the process, the kind of thing that we had from there. I mean, from like, I guess, when I started to that specific point.
No, I gotcha. And yeah, like, of course, What If Life Was a Fever Dream has been very well documented now on VRChat in a lot of different places. I felt like if I remember correctly, it got some type of recognition off of VRChat. No, am I mistaken in that sense?
I mean, if you're talking about like us like submitting the film to VRChat's New Year's event where it did get recognition from VRChat, yeah, we did that a few times with some of our films. We might do it again this year with the entire catalog of Pearl Media films, and we just might have like one or two pop up in there. But yeah, we've had that film showcased at a lot of places. We had showcase at like Two Easy Dragons Film Festival. Then we had submitted at like another film festival. We didn't submit it at too many, which I kind of one thing I regret is that we should have submitted that film to Rain Dance Immersive back then, and maybe some other ones. But I mean, we got a few articles. We were noted as HTC's pick of one of the first 6 films you should watch whenever like when you're getting into VRChat. One of the first 6 user created films in the platform, and some other stuff. So like promotion was just making itself. Like we weren't really like promoting the film much after it came out. We were just kind of working on the next big thing, which was again we tried pulling the Foxwire card last year, and we realized, oh well, can't do it still because we still have a little bit of trouble with stuff. We still need more resources and everything like that. And one day I think during New Year's, since we kind of had like a slight bit of a hiatus during after Fever Dream came out, we I met Constantine there. I mean, I didn't meet Constantine for like the first time. But it was like one of the few times I met him. Every time we talk to each other, we'll usually get like to a 1 or 2 hour long conversation. It's pretty much just like us catching up on a lot of stuff, and we just go on a long conversation about just a lot of stuff. Um, but yeah, I'm talking to him, and he this was like before the end of the last year. He mentioned Fever Dream, and he was like, love the project, watched the project a good amount of times. This is some creative stuff, and I mean, honestly, I didn't really take it as much because, like I said, I didn't really think this was, again, really my best work when I first worked on it. I kind of thought that it was something that was like very misunderstood by a lot of people because a lot of people were like, "Oh, this film's confusing," and whatever. And I was wanting to do a redo, but then we end the conversation, like a very long conversation with him suggesting that you should try doing more projects like that or something like that. And I was like, okay. And then about a week later, I'm like, well, since it's not much on our project scale, and every single project that's been kind of pitched to us have been a lot of feature length long projects, like the heist thing that we were wanting to do, and a short like a feature length suspense film that we're trying to work on, which I've kind of worked on like half the script so far, and some other stuff. And Fever Dream 2 was born, and and this was shortly after he told me it, and I didn't make a script for it either. We like my team was like, ah, shoot, why aren't you using a script for this again? I was like, well, we gotta keep the magic of the first one, because I felt like if we were trying to do something like this that was unpredictable and still kind of had its type of humor and looks to it, I feel like this required absolutely zero script, and all it was just mostly improv. I mean, at this point, I should probably start taking improv classes after this film comes out. But yeah.
No, fair
Yeah,
enough.
so after
Go ahead.
yeah, what's up?
No,
Sorry.
go ahead. Go ahead.
You're good, you're good. But yeah, like after we started and everything like that, it was a little bit of a rocky roll because it was a lot of stuff that we were having difficulty doing before this.
Hello, everyone. Real quick, just want to pause the episode right here. First and foremost, thank you so much for watching the episodes. It means a lot that you're, making sure to stay this long into the episode. Really quick, just want to make a small announcement. I do want to thank some amazing people who have supported me over on Throne. We're currently over 60% funded for the new setup. It means the world to me that you guys are wanting to support the podcast, support all the creations, and help me expand and improve upon the content that I'm making. I got a bunch of special thank yous. We got Volkashikt, Emma Torch, Down Lyric, Asher Derora, KJD, Monk42, Sonic Man 7708, Teal, King Royako, Bunks Girl, Rolltide 813, MapleMoose, and of course, all of the anonymous gifters. You guys mean the absolute world to me, and I can't thank you guys enough for supporting my creations and everything about. But if you're interested, there also is the Noved Squad VRC group, NOVED 6608 for that. And we also do now have a Blue Sky account. We're on Blue Sky because honestly, Elon app is Elon app. We won't talk about that. But make sure to go follow the Blue Sky. I will be posting more updates in regards to episodes and everything else, interacting with the community more. But yeah, go check that out. But with that, let's get right back into the episode. Woo!
And I forgot to mention, during the time after Fever Dream, we did make another film. I keep forgetting about Game Show. Yeah, we did Game Show.
Which is literally what I was just about to bring up. That was going to be my next point, was to get me talking about that.
Yeah, so Game Show was actually going to be something that I kind of wanted to take inspiration off of Megacosm for, because they were doing a lot more, I guess, VR celebrity infused projects in the recents. So I tried dipping my hand into it. But I also wanted to give it a twist, so I kind of wanted to give a whole story and whatever. It was gonna be like, these people are dragged into this suspicious island type thing for like a Big Brother like contest and everything like that. And whoever makes it out of the contest and whatever wins. And all you need to do is just compete against each other in various games and all that stuff. Now in this film, we did not really go on that concept. It kind of just seemed like we were like doing very little of it, and we weren't getting into the games thing enough. And I did get advice saying that we should have turned it into an entire series, but I was like, I don't know if we really have the dedication to do that. And again, we are working with content creators. I don't know if they would really want to do a long-term series like that, because to be honest, like to make something longer than 10 minutes in VRChat that is completely film scripted out and all that stuff, and you're doing it in multiple maps and you're filming and you want to make sure everything looks perfect and scripted and all that stuff, that can take weeks and whatever, and like it could take almost like another couple weeks to get editing done and promotion done for the episodes and all that stuff. So if you really wanted to keep a consistent schedule, that means you would have to like do all this nonstop filming for months and everything like that. And realistically, you will only be able to do like maybe an 8-episode season within the year, and you wouldn't be able to upload all that stuff weekly. It would have to be like bi-monthly or something like that. It will be a lot of work. So that's why I tried compressing it down to a short film, which I realized we wouldn't be able to do. So I was like, okay, so we should compress it down to multiple short films. But either way, afterwards, I kind of decided, oh, okay, let's put this in the back burner. I will say though, that after Fever Dream 2, I will try to reattempt Game Show again. It's not a guarantee, but if I do, it will be a lot more better quality, and we will have an entire team dedicated to major aspects of the entire thing. It will be completely scripted. It will have it will have some more interesting, I'd say, VR based celebrities that we might add to the sorry, we might add into the mix. And yeah, it will be a big improvement over the first time we tried it, and I might pull a Suicide Squad and be like, yeah, that never happened. but yeah, I mean, so that's pretty much it. And then like I said, I didn't forget Fever Dream too. There's a lot of details, but I probably prefer you could probably ask the questions on those.
Yeah, fair. Well, I'll say before we do get into the Fever Dream 2, I guess one of the questions I wanted to ask, so out of all of the ones that you've done so far, um, which one seemed to give the most like not issues per se, but like what was one of them that gave like the most struggle to get done?
I'm trying to think. So Fata the Supermarket took a day. That was our shortest filmed short film project that we've ever did. Um, Fever Dream 1 took us a month and about a month and a half for editing and everything like that up to release. Game Show took us about 3 to 4 months to do. So if we're talking about difficulty, it would probably be Fever Dream 2 because at the time of this recording and probably at the time of this recording, Fever Dream 2's production would have gone on for 11 months. And probably at the time of the release of this video, Fever Dream 2 will be in production or still in the production status for almost the entire year. And yeah, it's been a good while. And a lot of the technical issues that we were dealing with was one, since this was non-scripted and I wanted to also maintain a higher production quality with this, since Fever Dream 1 was only made in a month, I decided to take more time into these concepts. A lot of Fever Dream 2 was supposed to have a different storyline than what it does now, and when it gets released, I will probably make like a director's note saying on like or something like that on like social media talking about how um what different storylines we would have been able to take for Fever Dream 2 and what stuck and what we're trying to do right now and everything like that. Because it's a lot of technical stuff that we were trying to do. We've so far we've experimented with camera animation systems, we've experimented with lighting bots, we've also experimented with some other stuff to make some of these scenes look a lot better. We've also gotten notice that like some AI plugins that are on like Premiere Pro and After Effects that can help produce certain effects which, like I said, when it comes to AI, we try to use stuff as tools for our work. We don't try to do anything more than like I wouldn't want AI doing more than like what 5-10% of the editing work half the time. Because I mean, if it's doing stuff like maybe fixing up jitters in our full body actors or producing like certain like visuals that we aren't able to produce ourselves at the moment, then I think we should be able to welcome it as a tool in our way of working.
Use it as a tool rather than a final product.
Yeah, yeah, it helps us with some concepts and I guess like it also helped me with I guess like not entirely proofreading, but it did help me with like I guess figuring out what type of story I should take with this film and what has been done and what hasn't been done. So I do applaud the AI for helping me figure that out and also helping me research on some things that I want to do within this project.
Mm-hmm.
Um and like I said, there was a ton of people who also gotten face tracking within the course of the year, and they were wondering if we should try face tracking for our characters and whatever. We're way too far into filmmaking filming this film to do facial tracking right now, because we did facial tracking for Felix. It's gonna take, or the main character of this film, it's gonna take us like a ton of reshoots, because that's just like reshooting a ton of our scenes. But
Fair.
yeah, I'm yeah, like I said, after a whole year of producing this half hour long special, it's been very painful. It's like, shoot, I wish filming for this would end. It's not that it's hard or miserable, it's just that we've been doing the same thing for over a year. Like it can really get to us. But like I said, I think this is a great test on our projects yet to come.
No, absolutely. And obviously, for those that are Portal Media fans out there, like I know they've been waiting for, Fever Dream 2, because you guys have been hyping it up and you've been doing like little teaser trailers here and there and, you know, doing like little blooper reel shorts out there. Um,
Yep.
it's definitely an interesting thing. I know I'm excited for the release. Hopefully, you know, hopefully, it's within I don't know, I don't know, it's like late November now when this episode airs. Hopefully sometime 2025 for sure. Cuz there's always stuff going on. So, but I know a lot of people are going to be very excited to see the Fear Dream 2, which kind of going into that a little bit. Um so I guess one of the questions I do want to ask cuz you've Fever Dream 1 has had some what I've been known to hear as iconic scenes, including that very first scene, like in the club scene. Kind of flying around the camera. We talked about it on Gursey's Bows episode. Make sure to go check that out. I guess kind of one of the things I wanted to ask, um, you know, because you've done all of these different films. In your opinion, what is one of the most, in your eyes, one of the best scenes that Portal Media has put out of all the films?
Um, Shoot. Honestly, when it comes to visual wise and best like compositions of shots, I'm gonna give that to the Foxwire trailer that we made 2 years ago because we had some pretty good compositions and cinematography type stuff that we were implementing there, thanks to Gursey actually. And there was some very great shots that also hold up to this day in terms of everything. I haven't seen the trailer in like a year almost, so I can't even remember, but I already know it has great visuals. Um, but when it comes to the best scene, in my opinion, that we have put out, I will say that the best scene that we have put out in Portal Media's history will be in Phantasmagoria Fever Dream Story. And I can tell you the time frame. Within the first minutes of the film, the best shot happens within the first minute of the film, and honestly, it will catch a lot of our viewers off guard when they see it. And Novid, knowing that you were there for that scene, you probably know exactly what shot I'm talking about.
I do. Was that in the trailer? Or am I don't remember if that was in the trailer.
Nope, not.
No, no, it wasn't. Can't show that. Sorry, y'all gonna have to wait until the release. Y'all have to wait.
Y'all have to wait, but it's probably like one of the funniest ways we could probably keep our viewers in, because I was like, when we were first doing the first scene, I was like, how do we like, hook our viewers into the first shot of this film, like what we did in Fever Dream 1, because after seeing YouTube's analytics, a lot of people did kind of stop watching the film after the first 2 minutes, which was the time frame of the first camera shot. So I'm like, okay, instead of trying to do similar things like that, which we tried doing with a game show, let's start off with having start on a good note, and then some weird stuff just start happening, and that's what we did. Um, I, I will say, to answer a possibly future question when it comes to release dates. Not anything official right now, but I think the plan is, what I'm going to do is what we're gonna do is we're probably going to submit this film to a few film festivals for a short term run. And based on how these film festivals work, because some of them will actually require us to not upload the film online before it premieres at the film festival. We possibly may have to hold the film off for however long time. So I can't give a guaranteed release window, but I will say that that when we're finally done with the film, I will set up an event where we will have a where we will have a where we will have a preview screening of the film to make sure that everybody who wants to see this movie can see this movie and all the effort that we did. And I think I can guarantee that 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 day will come up around May. This is a stretch, but possibly late. This is a stretch. Okay, this is a stretch. If Jersey sees this is a major stretch. But if what I prefer would be like maybe late December to like maybe late January 2025. And
He said it, not me,
we would,
Jersey. I just want to let you know. He said it, not
yeah,
me.
yep. But disclaimer, like I said, if a premiere happens like that, it will probably if it's not finished, it will be in progress. And if it's not in progress, then we'll upload the final trailer for the film with a release date around
Hell
that
yeah.
time. So either way, either in December or January, we will have either in January or December some form of content surrounding this film is going to come out. And if it's a trailer, I think it will be the official release date. If it's the actual film, then we might say something there.
Fair. So, in other words, for those that are listening or watching, make sure to go around that time frame. Keep an eye on the social medias because something will be out. That's essentially the long story short of it.
Pretty much, yep. Speaking of social media, we're also working on like some other social media related stuff. We have like a ton of projects and in the editing stage that we're also going to be pushing out within these next couple of weeks. So stay tuned on our social media channels. I don't know if they'll be linked in your YouTube video, but
yeah. all the links, which we'll go into that at the very end, but all the links will be down in the description for all the social medias and stuff. But I guess one of the other questions I wanted to ask in the regards to the Fever Dream story, the sequel, I've already said this off camera, but I can't pronounce that word for the life of me. I've tried 1,000 times. My brain just goes kaput, especially if it's a day after work. But I guess one of the questions, because if I remember correctly, you said was how do we know like a generalized uptime for the film, or is it still kind of like in the progress stage?
You're talking about like a runtime of the film?
Runtime, yeah, runtime.
Okay, so the estimated runtime I'm assuming is about 30 minutes. That is the estimated runtime of this film. If not, it will probably be around the 20 to 25-minute range for this short. Since there's gonna be a lot, since Fever Dream 1 was 10 minutes long, and I really wanted to expand a lot more on the film in this, and I wanted to also give it a kind of coherent story and some other different elements that we want to add within this film to kind of make it seem a lot more full, because that was one of the complaints that we got. A lot of people wanted to see more type of Fever Dream type stuff happening within the films, and so we're given what the people want. And I have suggested it, and like I said, in the near future we may actually revisit Fever Dream and make a theatrical version of Fever Dream, whereas it's not going to be released in theaters. That's not what I mean. But like I mean like I would want to make a version of Fever Dream that is about 45 minutes long. It would be considered a feature length, and it will be a complete merge of Fever Dream 1 and Fever Dream 2. Might even be a remaster of Fever Dream 1 and just merging in with Fever Dream 2 footage and adding some new scenes and some new stuff that I really wanted to do in the first one and some other stuff. And then we could like send that to film festivals and everything like that. I mean, Fever Dream 2 as it is right now, I wouldn't even be able to submit it to like half the film festivals, man. We got some popular IPs in the film that are not part of the main story. They're just there as comedic value. But yeah, it's a very fun thing.
Fair enough. So I guess because we are starting to run a little bit out of time, but one of the questions I did want to ask, because you've been doing this for a couple of years now, so for those that may want to start film production and start making films within inside of VR chat, what is one piece of advice that you can give to those that are trying to make films or stuff like that? So if you want to face towards the camera.
No problem, no problem, no problem. All right. So to all those people, all right, you have no excuse to not pursue filmmaking. I did this stuff at 13, and I am 16, almost 17, doing the stuff that I am doing right now. If there's a problem with resources and everything like that, just contact. If you have a problem with trying to get resources or people for your films, there's a ton of people or groups I know you can reach out to. There's a community for filmmakers within VRChat that I'll probably ask Noved to link down in his video at the bottom of the screen and everything like that. And then there's also and if it's not even a problem with just like people resources and you're just trying to figure out how to make a film, there's many people in that community who can also help you do it. I mean, for me, I had Gursey and some others, and but in general, there's already like a ton of other people who are willing to give advice. And I mean, it's not gonna be paid advice or anything like that. It's all completely free. You don't even have to you know give up an arm or a leg or anything like that for it. Like I said, it's a lot of this is pretty much just about having fun and doing what you want to do in the process. I mean, for us, I mean, we're having tons of fun in our film sessions and being able to do stuff like this. But like I said, if you have any sorts of if you need any sort of assistance or guidance with trying to be able to like make your own project, short or long form or anything like that, I mean, my Discord will probably also be linked there either way. And I'm a free person to be talked to about this. Just say, hey, I'm from Noved's video, and I want to know a little bit more about how you guys make films and everything like that. And we can easily have a pretty long conversation about it, pretty longer than this podcast runtime. But you'll be able to click out of the call and know a lot more things about how how we as filmmakers in all different types of studios and communities and independencies were able to make stuff like this in VR chat. Because if there's anything that you should learn from this, is that anybody can make a studio quality or an industry grade short or feature length film within these types of platforms, all in their bedroom. That's how I did it.
No, absolutely. And that goes with any type of content, whether it's, feature films, short films, shorts content. Like
Yep.
everyone does this within their own comfort of their own home 9 times out of 10, you know, and start small, and just grow based on that realistically. I mean, like Virtual said, 13 though, that's now 16, doing it for 3 years. Like that's crazy. Officially,
Like I said, there's no excuse not to start into it.
yeah, officially one of the youngest people I've had on my podcast. Fun fact. Um, but no, it's crazy to think about. I guess if you had one thing, knowing all the information now, um, if there was one thing you could say to like your former, like you when you first started creating, what would it be and why?
If I were to say something to him, I would say, well, I think the most important thing to probably say is that, well, it's it was very hard then, and it will still keep getting hard, trust me. But at the end of the day, we made progress. and progress is power. I mean, well, I mean, it's not also, it's also just like, other things are power too. But progress is is a great motivation for you to be able to do a lot of the things that you're currently doing. And without progress, there would be no Portal Media. So just think about it. If you feel like you're not doing anything at all, or what you're doing is not doing something, you always have to think that you always have to think to yourself, wow, well, maybe somebody else thinks the exact opposite. Maybe somebody actually thinks that what you're doing is progress. Because I've had people come up to me and say that they've been inspired by what I've been doing to inspire them to pursue filmmaking and everything like that, just because of how I did this and what circumstances was I in to do this. And honestly, I think the only solid piece of advice I could give to my younger self is that progress is important no matter how little.
Fair enough. Also a wise piece of advice. Like you said, any progress is good progress. Yeah. No, that's what's up. Well, I guess before we end things off, I do want to give you a chance to kind of tell people where they can find you at, find Portal Media, anything you want on screen in the description. But yeah, floor is yours. Tell them where they can find you.
All right. So, well, since you heard the man, our socials are as follows. If you want to see some of our content on Twitter or X or whatever, our at is, I think, Portal Media Films, or it's at VRC Portal Media, I think. No, actually, let me check that. I know I'm taking way too much time on that. It's called, yes, our at is at VRC Portal Media. And if you want to check our YouTube, our at is also at Portal Media Films specifically. And our Discord is discord.gg/Portal Media if you're wanting to, be a part of our films, or, maybe just see our cool community that we have. I mean, a couple of days ago, we actually did do like a little election for, what was the best Doritos flavor, and nacho cheese did win. But, besides that, we also have a Ko-Fi page if you're wanting to support us, which is ko-fi.com/Portal Media. And I think that's pretty much it.
I'm pretty sure.
Besides the fact that we have a Blue Sky, but yeah.
Technically, you are missing two others, because you do have a VRC group, and you also do have a new website, from what I've been seeing.
Ah, yes. Okay, so never mind. Actually, scrap that. Okay. Yeah, just cut that part. I'm kidding. Okay, so yeah, so basically, yeah, we also have a website called portalmediafilms.com. You can go on there and you can find all of our links to pretty much everything there. That's a lot better to do it. That's a better way to do it.
Post editor, you have fun, decide what you want to do. But yeah, all of the links will be on screen in the description, so make sure to go check all of those out. Go support Portal Media, and as Virtual kind of already teased, I know technically there's a one-time post teasing it, but yeah, I'm also one of the body actors for the sequel as well. But please go make sure to check it out once that release date hits, and all the upcoming stuff. It's gonna be awesome. I can't say too much from my personal experience, but what I can say is there's a lot of cool stuff. That's all I can say. There's a lot of cool stuff, a lot of funny moments. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, you done some very cool beatboxing. Yeah. Just have it on the top of the screen. Let's just see you doing your beatboxing skills over here. I'll send that over to you later.
Damn, I think I still have to do audio for that, don't I? I don't think I've ever done audio for that yet.
Yeah, it's only a little bit of audio. It's no problem.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Post editor, good luck. But yeah, no, go make sure to check out Portal Media. Go check out Virtual and his amazing team. But yeah, I don't think I got anything else in that regard. But ladies, gentlemen, everybody inside and outside the ballpark, this has been episode 40 of the Noved Notes podcast. If you did enjoy what Virtual and I were talking about, make sure to go like the video. Go check out all the Portal Media stuff. Comment down below which Portal Media film's your favorite. There's a few. Go check out all the Portal Media films. Come back to this comment section and tell me which one's your favorite. Virtual and some of the other Portal Media folks will probably be down in the comments, checking out all that stuff. But yeah, I do want to thank you all so much for watching. And of course, if you're already coming back to see some of the other episodes, why not hit that subscribe button? You're already coming back anyway. But with that, I want to thank you all once again for watching this long and tuning in. And I will see you in the next episode. Take care and peace.
All waves to you.
Oh, yeah, Lion. I actually did see Raptor recently.
Oh, really? Been wondering where he went.
Yeah, how do I explain this? He was on the luggage conveyor line.
What? He was on the conveyor line.
Yeah, I was getting my ticket all sorted, and he just kind of was riding along a piece of luggage. Yeah.
I actually heard someone scream from the baggage claim area. I don't know what that was about, but one of the staff members just screamed out loud for some random reason.
All these terrors, and now I have to move ye packages. Ah!
What?
Don't miss out on Music VRChat, December 7th through the 22nd. We'll see you there. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Noved.